This is our new breakfast show, Sunday mornings at
Mm-hmm.
11. We're gonna do a few to start and see how it goes, right? But
Yep, and you're our first victim. I mean, guest.
yeah, first
I'm
guest of the
very
show,
honored.
of the segment. Honored
We
to have you here, man.
Yeah.
getting
Yeah, this is
getting lots
awesome.
of
Thank you.
firsts. Yes,
This is right on.
we were uh, we were the first band interviewed by this gaming YouTube channel in Belfast. So
No
now we're the
way.
first on your breakfast show. So I love it.
Cool.
That's
Right on.
Progress.
awesome, man.
Well,
Yeah.
can we do another first? And can you guys be the first American band that I add to Sofa City Sounds biographies and profiles?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah,
There you go.
awesome. Three firsts in a
Now, on
row.
that note,
Fantastic.
kindly introduce yourself, man. So
Yeah.
people know who we're talking to today. I don't
Hello.
know, but
So I am Scott Dispel from frigid Cleveland, Ohio, on the shores of Lake Erie, where the spirits roam across the moors on the full moon.
Ooh.
And if you like anything gothic metal or fantasy or medieval, or if you play Dungeons and Dragons or any of the
hey,
forbidden games, that's what we love.
yeah,
Okay. Right on. So it sounds like I'm actually not home.
no.
It sounds like you guys are a little closer to home than I am.
Yeah.
So right on. Yeah, Cleveland's somewhere I've never been. Um, I definitely want to check it out. Living in a tourist town, I like checking out towns that aren't tourist towns. Like I
Sure.
know there's tourist areas and stuff, but I like going to the areas that aren't touristy to see how other
Sure.
people actually live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Normal people, I guess.
Well,
So
Niagara's always happening. There's always crowds everywhere you go, right?
yeah,
It's not the same, right? You don't
yeah,
get to go sit
yeah.
at that pub, listen to the local band play and stuff.
We don't
But
have a local
yeah,
pub where bands play right now.
no, I know everything's shut down, dying now. But
Okay.
have you
All
guys
right.
been
So
working on some new stuff since everything's kind of locked down? You got nothing else to do?
Yeah, actually, we're working on our new album called Inferno. That's what it's going to look like.
That's
Um,
awesome.
the artwork was
nice.
done by Claudia Bezek, who is an artist in Poland. So
Oh, no way.
we kind of have some international ties. Like right now, my singer's living in South Africa. We just recorded
Cool.
the first video from this album was recorded in South Africa. So we had like
Wow.
an incredibly talented crew of directors and stuff out there. It was all done on a shoestring budget, and
I
it
was
turned out
gonna
really
say,
well, actually.
how was the trip
That's
over there? How did you fall in love with the country while you were there, or were you like,
Oh,
let's
I
go
didn't
back
go.
to
I
Cleveland?
couldn't afford to go, so she was down
Oh,
there, and I was like, we just communicated through video and
yeah.
ideas, and we really let the director kind of run with it. His name was Devon Delmar, and he did a great job, and yeah, it was
nice.
cool.
Yeah.
So my singer Ravensey got to experience it, and I got to watch it virtually on YouTube with everybody else. So
Hey, that's
there you
all
go.
right.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
but you had a
Yeah.
hand in it, right? So even if you
yeah,
were
absolutely.
watching it virtually, you were one of the how many
You're
people that
still
actually
there.
had a hand in it. So
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I paid
One
for
day.
it, so there you go.
Yeah. One day soon,
so you had a
you'll
few
get to
hands
actually
in
go.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Awesome. So like what else are you guys up to? Like what like do you for when we finally do get our world back? I know you guys are a little bit more ahead of the game than we are. Um where are you headed? Like what are you doing? Or this.
Well, we
You
were
guys.
supposed to tour Germany back in September of last year. Obviously, that got canceled due to the
Right.
pandemic.
Yeah.
So actually, Raven C, my singer, is going to be coming here in I think the end of March. We're going to cut vocals for the new album. All the music's done.
Well,
And then we've got a Spotify single coming out in March and then
yeah.
one coming out
Cool.
in April that will precede the album and hopefully build a little bit of hype.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So we should probably do another breakfast show. TJ, don't even open the schedule. But we should
I just
probably do
I
another breakfast show with you. Or maybe have an appearance on Savage Circle when you guys are about to release your album. so we can push it over our channels and get you guys out there a little bit more than you're already getting out there?
That sounds great. Yeah, we could use all the help we can get. We haven't
absolutely.
we haven't been able to tour or play any shows in support of our first album. Now we're working on our second album. We haven't even
Right.
played any shows yet. It's crazy.
No, that's
Okay,
crazy.
well, we got a few things happening over here in the next couple of years. I know
Yeah.
it sounds like so long, but considering we just lost a year to a pandemic, I think saying the next couple of years sounds better than the next couple of months, because like we're giving an surety that it's going to be okay, I hope, anyway.
Yeah.
But we've got a few things happening over here in Canada in the next couple of years, and we'll definitely connect with what we can do to maybe create some noise over here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I drove up to Toronto. This must have been, I don't know, 2018, 2019, to see a Ghost open up for Iron Maiden at the
Nice.
no, you got to go to that
Budweiser
show?
Pavilion or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Budweiser
I missed that
thing
show.
outside. Oh, you were there?
That show.
Okay.
Well, I'm only a couple hours away from Toronto. I did the Iron Maiden Raven's Age tour with my 10-year-old, that 9-year-old, in 2019. That's what she wanted for her birthday, was Maiden tickets. So who the fuck am I to say no, right?
Respect.
Right. Thank you. And my well, she's almost 8 now, but my at the time 6-year-old and I did the Slipknot tour. The We Are Not Your Kind tour. Yeah. So Toronto's like my home away from home. I love going there.
Cool.
I do.
Funny
I
you
love
mentioned
it.
that tour, because that year was, I took my girlfriends at the time, the girl I was seeing, her middle kid, that was his first show, was the Slipknot and Gojira, Behemoth and stuff, right? And he fell in love with Behemoth, man. He couldn't get enough of that. And same with Gojira, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Mia loved Behemoth. She wanted to go front row for them. She loved them.
They are pretty good live. I've got to see them a couple times now. But
yeah, I've seen them 3 or 4 times too. They're really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like, aside from like what you guys are up to with Dispel, do you yourself have any other projects that you got going on that you want to put on the table?
Yeah, actually, there's a band in Germany called Maldurin. They're right up our alley. They're into the knights and the armor, and he's always got pictures where he's wearing chainmail. And they do more. He does more like symphonic metal, but he sent me a couple tracks that I'm going to do drums on. So I'm going to do some drum tracks for him. He did some guitar tracks for us. What's that?
What's that, Amanda?
I said we need to hook him up with Sam Crowley from Temple of Night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have links and pages and stuff like that that you can post up on our pages, or that you can send to us so that we can get that out there for?
Yeah, I just sent an email with all our band links.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. Jay will have that, then he'll take care of that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Jay will put together a nice promo for you, and then he'll send it over, and you guys can use it wherever you want.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. We're family now, so yeah, I look forward to working together. So yeah,
definitely. This was CJ's doing.
Everyone close, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, that's how we create networks and we keep this industry alive.
You guys through your band chat, and for what almost 2 years now, because my last road trip I was going to come through and interview you guys or whatever, and then things got messed up, and then here we are, finally got you on the show. I was sort of like Jay was last night, a little fan struck. Oh
my God. Jay was like a kid's cheeks went bright red. He was like a kid in a candy store with Tommy on the show. Yeah, that's okay. I'm going to be the same way when we have Ryder on the show too, and No Cash. So like we're all going to have our chance to fangirl.
Yeah, true, right?
So,
but I was going to ask too, a lot of the artwork that goes up onto the Dispel's page. Is that all drawn like for you guys, or do you guys pull that from places and stuff? I know you have a lot of fantasy photos and shit up on there, right?
Yeah, most of it's just from fantasy artists.
Okay.
'Cause again, you know, fantasy and anything medieval's our inspiration for writing. So I try to find cool stuff. You know, with the band, with bands now, it's so much about content and new stuff and just keeping engaged with the bands and everything. You know, when you're an independent band, it's like, it's kind of like that's your job, is to keep your fans engaged, because you can't hang out with them at the show. You know, I have all these like visions in my head of hanging out at the merch booth and actually interacting with people. And it's like, it can't happen. It hasn't happened for a year. It's just the weirdest thing.
It will happen again.
As a concert goer, I love that when I go buy their merch and the band's selling me the T-shirt. I get them to sign it, you know, and then we interact. It's such more personal, you know. It feels more like personal for sure when you get to do that.
Well, yeah, and it's nice when, like, I mean, your music taste is a lot like mine, TJ. So it's nice when you meet bands that are doing it for the sake of doing it versus doing it for the sake of their paycheck. Now, we all in this industry need a paycheck. Don't get me wrong. We all do this for that. But it's not about that, doing that. And that's, like you say, going to the merch table and like hanging out and hugs and high fives and stuff like that. It really, like, a lot of the bands that we work with absolutely make you feel like family, for sure. And with the way things are right now, we're kind of just creating this to make sure that we keep everybody relevant and get all that content up there. So you guys were a perfect fit for the first morning show, because you're doing exactly what we are trying to push for and that's why we have so many channels, why we're creating so much content, because we need to keep things relevant. This way, when the world opens up, no matter how broke we all are, we're all going to make it to a show.
Right.
You know, and Cleveland, I Googled where Cleveland is from the border, and I can go over there without insurance, TJ. So I'm coming to do the interview with you. I
got dual, right? So I can travel back and forth. I can live, work in the States. I come up here. I've been in Ontario for just over 3 years now this time around. I'm like a nomad. I'm always on, like, just live nowhere but everywhere, fucking try to make it work, right? But this last couple of years, and then meeting Amanda and them, what, 8, 9, 10 weeks ago or whatever. Now we're 8 weeks into
December 5th.
December 5th. So yeah, however long that is, right?
Yeah, and December 5th is when we started
the show.
All this.
We just, all of a sudden, the content has been just getting out there, and it's a perfect time to pull in your music and throw it up there. You know, it's like that's what this channel is about. Helping the artists.
I mean, we're not very old. Yeah, exactly. I mean, our channel's not very old. We're only through Facebook, we're only 9 weeks old. But we have a reach of over 5,000 per stream. So every time we stream over 5,000, so there's 5,000 people eventually going to see this, if not watching it between now and the end of the day, because we'll probably restream this later on in the week as well.
Okay.
That'll be our Wednesdays, or restream all our content of the week, and then.
Yeah. Jay said he didn't get the links.
No. Oh. For me? Or from
no, from Scott.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Either way, then, because I sent them a whole bunch of shit. And didn't get none of that.
Blame it all on Jay.
Yeah, we'll blame it on Jay for now. Then we'll talk later behind the scenes and get it figured out, right?
Yeah. So it, like, along with your other projects and stuff like that, are you guys scheduled to have a tour happen once the world does open back up? Or, like, I know you had mentioned Germany. I know you had mentioned Germany, but do you have something that you're looking into, maybe closer to home or kicking around Canada in the next little while?
You know what? We really haven't got to that point. We were contemplating doing Germany with the same promoter. But as of yet, there's still so much uncertainty as to venues opening and stuff. So our focus right now is finishing, the Inferno album. And so
I can't wait.
You could teach David a thing or two about plugs. That was awesome.
Yeah, right.
It's goal number 1. So we're going to be cutting vocals. And I also see over here we got like these chat people. Like, how do we interact? Like, we got Janice and Allison, and that's awesome.
I think you just tap on the chat and like tap on the arrow where the chat is, and there should be a little message bubble that we can interact with. I am on my phone, and every time I touch something, I leave the room. So I am not going to be the one to interact with the chat today.
We got Janice rocking too.
Oh, Janice is amazing.
To Toronto, seeing bands and stuff as well. She said,
I know.
Right?
I know. She and I connected really well after. Jay said he'll do the Boneyard side, even though we blamed him for the technical difficulties.
Yeah, that's all right. Allison there, she's out of Northern Ontario, and her kids are huge fans of and then they've been checking out all the music we bringing up and stuff, so they're turning into little metalheads now, apparently, right? So,
Well, I mean, how else are we going to save this industry?
No, especially right now,
90% of our venues across Canada have or are closing.
Wow.
No, I know.
Yeah.
What's it like over there? Where you guys you just said the bars just were allowed open last night at 2, right?
Last night was the first night, yeah.
So is singing allowed in the States yet? Because singing and dancing isn't allowed here. I'm not even joking. It's a fucking rule.
Yeah. If there is, it's very underground. I did catch some DJs about a month ago, but it was like a fraction of what it normally would be, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Maybe they're just biological warfare. They're just trying to shut down music. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
I was wondering that. I was going deep down the conspiracy rabbit hole. And that was my conclusion I was coming to, right?
Hang on, because I've kind of dipped into this rabbit hole a little bit. I dip into all rabbit holes. I'm surprised you guys can't see my tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
But the thing is there's actually something to this music thing. We vibrate at 432 megahertz, and that's what music is normally supposed to vibrate at. People like Jimi Hendrix and Bob Marley tuned their guitars to that vibration, and for some reason we've sped up our musical vibration to 440. And if you look at over the years, when music first started versus now, people used to, it's true, because our bodies vibrate all at different levels, but 432, we are the happiest. 432 is when we vibrate. Oh, I got one of those too. 432 is when we vibrate at the same vibration as the earth, right? That's why they recommend that you don't wear shoes in the grass, so that you vibrate the same vibration. See, I'm an ass kissicist too, TJ.
What's his name?
So over the years, if you look at the way music has evolved, and you look at the different genres that have come up and taken over and then disappeared, our generation, the 90s generation, that's when we had like the most bouncy stuff and pop stuff, and then we started turning into the grunge and getting a little bit darker, and we moved into metal, and now like metal is dominating, right? And you don't dance at a metal show, you mosh at a metal show. So like seriously, like look at the evolution of music, where when we started music at 432 and then brought it up to 440, the evolution of the way we interact at concerts has changed. Now, don't get me wrong, I will jump in a mosh pit every time. I did 144 of them in 2019.
Getting older and not being able to take the hits,
I'll pass.
Hey, listen, I'm in every mosh pit I can be in, and I don't care how much I hurt the next day.
No, it's true. As much as I
you can't take that away from me.
I still get in them every time. I still get into one, right?
Well, listen, if 3 heart attacks didn't kill me, a little mosh pit's not going to do it.
No, right. I seen the cat there. What's the cat's name, bud? I'm a huge
That
animal
cat is that's Priya because she's pretty. So there you
I
go.
was gonna say,
thanks.
what a pretty name.
I
Right
They were
on. How old?
adopted
got a
from a.
question here.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I can't pronounce their name, but they want to know what's your most memorable tour, like when you were on tour. What's the fucking best thing that's ever happened to you? Like
Definitely. We did 6 weeks in Europe and just completely blew my mind that music could actually, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it completely changed my life, and I didn't think that music could actually do that. So we did mostly Germany. We made it down to Italy, Amsterdam. Funny story. We were supposed to play a show in Amsterdam, so we got there early because we wanted to sightsee. And then we called. This was back when they had phones. We called the promoter. We're like, hey, we're in town. We want to sightsee a little bit, then we'll come to the show for sound check. And he got offended, apparently, that we wanted to sightsee and not go straight to the venue or something. And he hung up on us, and he wouldn't answer the phone anymore. So we got stuck in Amsterdam without a show, and we almost got robbed, and it was just this completely crazy thing. And yeah, Europe was
Turned that into a
amazing.
kid's book.
Yeah,
it was
Europe sounds
crazy.
super fun. I was actually
Yeah, I
supposed to
can't
be
wait to go to Europe.
last year. I was gonna hit the Rock and Ram festival there, the big 3-day bash they had, and but that all got closed down, right?
Okay. I will say from my experience, especially in Germany, music is like so integral to their culture. Like every show we played was like a home run, and it was just blew me away because in the
Amazing.
States, it can kind of be hit or miss when you're at our level. You know, we're not a huge band. You know, we're an independent band.
Yeah.
But over in Europe, it was like I almost felt like people just go to the venue, and whoever's playing, if they like
They're
it,
there.
they'll support it. Yeah. So
That's awesome.
Wow.
Because here you're hit and miss. Some days you can go. Like I went and seen Dieglo's Abortion. In
I love
Owen
Dieglo
Sound, there
Abortion.
was like, there was like 5 of us, 10 of us in the bar.
yeah.
Then when we seen them in Toronto, you could barely get into the bar to get upstairs to go see them. It was
Yeah,
it
those
was
are my
crazy,
well and
right?
wasted stories.
Oh, those guys are awesome. We've seen them like 7 times in the 5 days that they played their shows or some shit like in the area, right? So we followed them around for a week.
Okay, so I have a question because I'm doing my questions off the fly. This is how I learn about the musicians that I work with. Like I prepare everything else except for my questions for interviews. So, okay, my song, everybody's got that one song that changed their life that was like, metal's it for me, man. Metal's my lifestyle and that's it. So my song was War Pigs when I was 13 years old.
Wow. Okay.
And that was it. My whole life was like, oh my God, like where have you been all my life type thing. So like, what's your song? What's that one song that made you go, no, metal's my life?
Well, that's tough because I think when I first discovered that there was music beyond what we hear on the radio, I discovered Rush, and it was probably the Rush 2112 album. And I'm like, oh my God, bands have concept albums and write about more than girlfriends.
Yeah, right.
That's amazing that it was a Canadian band.
Yeah, right.
I actually went to the same high school as the drummer.
Oh, really?
Not to cut you off, but go on.
Yeah, Neil Peart's a huge influence for me. Yes, absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think as far as metal, because obviously I don't know how you'd even classify Rush, progressive rock, maybe.
Yeah, prog rock for sure.
Prog rock. I think probably "Rime of the Ancient Mariner" by Iron Maiden. That song in particular,
nice.
when it's like, oh my God, they're doing literature in metal. I'm like, who does that?
Right?
Yeah.
History class would have been so much better if they had just added Maiden to every class.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably that song by Maiden.
Awesome. TJ, what's yours?
I went down the punk rock rabbit hole with the Misfits, and I was punk rock for probably 12 years and never looked back. So that was
nice.
Those were fun times.
Yeah, right on. That's awesome. That's all.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
punk scene here
I
in
love punk. I'll
Ontario
get
is
into
pretty
any
good.
punk show, but metal's always been it for me. Well, actually, I dipped into hip hop a little bit before I understood that music actually had all kinds of different directions. Like you with the, hey, we play more than just this on the radio. Yes, Jay, we
Yeah.
know that you don't like Iron Maiden. That's
Yeah, right.
so, but yeah, like and for me, like I still listen to some hip hop. I can't say that I don't listen to all music. I listen to like NWA and Eazy-E, and I
Yeah.
do like Beastie Boys and stuff like that, which I guess is kind of mainstream. I'm not really into the underground hip hop or anything like that. But that message is for you, Jay. Um, but like as far as it goes, once I discovered that, like, oh my God, music goes in this direction and music goes in this direction and it goes in, and
Yeah.
then when I discovered that like metal just wasn't metal, it was like all kinds of metal,
Yeah,
right?
you
It
have
was
your
like
industrial,
death
your
metal and
dark,
melodic metal
yeah,
and Viking
thrash.
metal, and I was like, who needs all the other music? There's different genres of metal. So that's kind of where
Yeah.
I'm at. Like you said, Motorhead. Motorhead's always been my love. I have Motorhead tattooed on my ring finger because I'd rather be married to Motorhead than anybody else.
Yeah. Well, it was my buddy
So,
bought me the CD for my birthday. I think I was in around the same age you were, 13, 12 or 13.
mhm.
He's like, here, listen to this, man. I put on Ace of Spades and it was over. It was
Yep,
metal.
that's what
Like,
I have tattooed on me is
but
a
I do
spade.
diverse and go like, we have, I listen to some dance and techno, not really for very long, but,
Oh,
you
that's
know,
it. We're
there's
not
that
friends
odd song
anymore.
that gets me going and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Nine Inch Nails as well. They became a big influence on me through the '90s and shit, right?
Yeah, they came out of Cleveland.
No,
Nice.
exactly, right?
Nice.
In fact, there's a story to that. Actually, the local goth club used to be their practice space. So,
No, that's
Cool.
awesome.
yeah, so
That's actually pretty
we
cool, yeah, right?
got a
Yeah,
goth
that's right
club.
on.
We got a goth club called the Chamber here, and Nine Inch Nails used to practice there. And the family that owns the venue,
Yeah.
like her boyfriend ended up becoming their manager and becoming a millionaire and all that stuff. So
Oh, wow,
yeah,
that
Right
there's a
sounds
on.
like
Cleveland
we should
connection with Nine Inch Nails for sure.
That's
chill out
awesome.
there
That's
and do a
awesome.
show. When we come down to do a show in person, maybe we can chill out there and fucking.
Yeah, the venue shut down during the pandemic and it just got
Yeah.
bought. But my understanding was they were going to keep it a goth venue because it's the only one in the area. But
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see what happens. I know it's very well funded from government sources, so it will probably whatever it
Stay
is,
open.
it will sustain.
Well,
That's
that's
good
good
then.
to know.
That's a piece of
Yeah,
history right there, right? Like,
yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Okay, I have another history question. What was the first CD you ever bought?
The first
That you ever
CD I
bought?
ever bought.
Yeah, not the was bought for you, the first one you ever bought.
Oh, geez, it was probably so when I was listening to punk back in the day, I liked Oi a lot. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Oi music. So I think it
Definitely.
was probably an Anti-Heroes CD.
Nice.
And I think I got it when we were on tour. I had been buying cassette tapes up until that point, and I'm like, I'm not getting CDs. I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it. And then finally, I noticed how CDs you could have the complete best of and, hours of music. So I think that was the first CD I bought. And I think we were playing in like Rochester, New York or something. And we went to a record store and that's where I bought it. So, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Oh, shit.
What's up?
And then
Oh.
there were two.
I know, right? So David and them, or DUI just said that he's going to go ahead. He's got all the links. Everything went through. So we got to let everyone know. We'll be posting a lot of your links up to get your merch, you have T-shirts for sale too, right?
Yeah, we do got T-shirts. These are what the T-shirts look like.
Perfect. I'm a big T-shirt connoisseur, right? Especially when it comes to band stuff. And
yeah, the merch is cool. And I think You know, when you're rocking another band's shirt or whatever, it just shows, you know, you're part of the tribe. So,
Yo, right? Yeah,
cool,
I
yeah.
was actually canoeing this past year. I was pulling the canoe up out of the water, and the guy looked at me. He says, "I am my own god," and it's because I was wearing the Diaglo T-shirt. He just see the front of
Wow.
it, but he already knew what it said on the back. It was like, yeah, a little reference. So then we
Yeah.
just went on our way, but we both knew metal's the way, right?
I'm going to assume we're talking about uniforms and how we connect.
Yeah,
Through our
just band
T-shirts
merch and stuff.
Yep.
I actually have the Dayglow Abortions record. I got the 12-inch, so yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
I
that's
have,
awesome.
I think it's called Lady in a Canoe. I bought it from a pawn shop for $8.
Okay.
It's
there you
still
go.
in plastic, yeah.
Here it is. I got all of them to sign, even Blind Mike. He got it to sign it up in Braille for me, and I'd like to
That's
have them
funny.
on the show. I should actually reach out to them.
Yeah, we should, certainly. Why not? Definitely.
Yeah, that's like the old hardcore punk bands. I didn't
Oh yeah.
people that still like that. I used to play in a Cleveland band. It was called Face Value, so we were like the straight edge in the straight edge genre, and that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Love
Right
fun,
on. Okay.
What about
I
DOA?
can't answer the chat, Jay, because if I answer it, I'm going to fall out of the stream again.
It keeps calling up and then blocking my screen, and then. But,
yeah, well, he's like, I mean, he's not on, but he's interacting with us.
No, which is good. I like that.
What about DOA? Of course, Jay. Jay, why don't you just jump in the chat?
I know he's in the.
Seriously, he's been here the whole show. Just jump in.
Yeah, he is welcome to.
So, well, yeah, absolutely. I know Jay's got questions. I know he does.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, but I don't know.
I thought it was funny how back in the punk days, like all these bands had just the letters. It was DOA and then DRI and then MDC.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah.
I just got to play with a book that the lead singer of DRI made. It was like a picture book of the punk scene throughout Canada and the US.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. It was really cool. It was a really nice hardcover book. Whole bunch of stories and photography and stuff like that. Ryder has it, actually. Yeah. Well, you should see all the memorabilia he has. He has some really nice stuff, actually.
My friend there, Tammy, she basically built a room just to keep her concert stuff in. Like when we go, she tries to buy literally everything that the band is selling. So if you're selling stickers, a T-shirt, a sweater, one of this, she'll buy one of everything.
I do the same thing. I do that with no cash. I dropped $200 at a show. It only cost me $10 to get in.
Yeah. The final kick in the ass when the Boneyard actually started just focusing on music and traveling. It was her that kicked me in the ass and said, "Why aren't you just interviewing bands and going to concerts?" You know, like we already go to so many concerts and stuff already, right? We know all the security. We talk to all the merch guys. Like, might as well.
Why aren't we just doing this?
Yeah, and then here we are today, right?
Yeah. Speaking of merch and links and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure now I'm probably going to make a little bit of extra work for Jay by saying this out loud on air. And I know you're waiting for it, Jay. We're going to post all your links and everything onto all of our channels and everything. But I'm going to see if Jay can maybe do it in like a 30-second commercial that's continuously relevant, that has all your links, that has some of the artwork for your albums, where we can get your merch, because I definitely need some. Yeah, see? David could learn a thing or two from you. I'm saying, seriously.
I love the artwork, though, man.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
When I originally found you guys, it was actually over the artwork on your channel, and then I realized you guys are a band too. What? And then I was like, oh, in heaven, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time when like bands and fashion and art, it was like one big thing. Like they all reflected each other.
Yeah.
So,
and I
knew that was that band because of that artwork, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and certain areas in the metal world, which is really nice, they take their artwork as seriously as they take their music. Obviously, you guys do, because you're the cover of the album that you keep lifting up, which you should do again.
Yes.
Like, I mean, the all of it is like, it's very well detailed. It's very easy. It's very easy on the eyes, but it's very intricate at the same time. I know I sound like I know art, right? I don't know a fucking thing about
Well, when
art.
you listen to the music, it really depicts how their music sounds too. Like it actually takes you to that place when you listen.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Songs, right?
Okay, so do you have like, I mean, I know you guys are scattered all over the place right now, but do you have like an old concert poster or like a bar square or something that has your logo from an old show or something like that that you could sign and send to me? I'll pay for it. I'll pay for whatever. But that's the type of memorabilia that I collect. Like, I don't know if you can see up here above me. I stole this from the Fresh Kills Con show. I'm that girl that rips posters off things and shoves them in my purse. Snake River Redemption actually just sent me a really nice poster with all their signatures on it. And that's all the kinds of stuff that I collect for myself and for my daughters, because they're really big into the music scene too.
That's cool.
So yeah, so if there's like, I don't care if it's like a coaster from a show that's got beer spilt all over it. Just, you know, give it
history, right?
You scribble on it a little bit and throw it in an envelope and send it over, and we'll throw it in a frame and we'll put it up, and, you know, we'll add it to the stuff that we also have on our websites and our pages and stuff like that. Because little pieces of memorabilia like that, that's a story I get to tell people now. Oh yeah, I did this interview once and I was like, hey, you got a dirty old bar coaster? And they sent it to me, you know, stuff like that. Like Dimebag Darrell's girlfriend, Rita, I met her in 2012 at Molson Amphitheater, and I didn't have anything for her to sign. So she got down on her knees and signed my Doc Martens while they were on my feet. And somebody took pictures of it. Yeah. And posted it up. And she wrote happy, because it was on Dimebag's birthday. So she wrote happy birthday Dimebag on my boots, on my Doc Martens.
Okay.
It was incredible.
I would have had that.
Cool. That's a good story.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, hey, you got something you can send to me? So now I have a good story for my interview with you guys. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll figure something out for sure.
Right on. Awesome. Like an old cigarette pack or something. I don't care what it is, man.
Yeah. Since we're family now, I can do that, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Working with you guys a bit more, getting your music out, and then once the borders open, bud, I'm planning a big road trip anyway, so we're sure you're our first stop on the way, right?
Yeah, that sounds cool. I know the Toronto scene has a really good goth scene, so, you know, we'd love to play up there for sure.
Well, I know all the ins.
We'll work on something. We'll definitely talk behind the scenes.
Hi, Jay. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
We can't hear you.
He's panicking.
Oh my God. Nope.
There's always a gremlin in the show somewhere, right?
Did you say a grimwood or a gremlin?
Gremlin, I don't know what I said. Something like that.
This is what happens on Sundays with us. It's just a bunch of fuckery.
Yeah.
I'm the one who doesn't drink, and usually I'm the one who's hungover on Sunday mornings.
Okay.
Well, it's funny because when I first was doing the show with interviews.
Yes.
Oh, welcome back, Jason. Go ahead,
man. Finish your story. Finish your story before Jay jumps in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How I used to booze it up on the show and just get retarded sometimes, man. But since I've been working with you and you guys, I haven't drank really on the show just the time, man. Like, I only had a couple beers and that was it. Yeah,
it was you and Brandon. That's really the only show you drank.
Yeah, Ass Pocket Podcast.
Yeah, and it certainly was an Ass Pocket Podcast by the time we were done that night.
That it was.
So what's up, Jay? What's happening, buddy?
I added Scott on Facebook. I hope you add me.
Okay, I got to do the same.
Because there is something that's happening in Niagara Falls.
Okay.
I'm going to be reaching out to hopefully do. But Yeah, there's some interesting things happening up here that I think you may be interested in, besides just us.
Yep.
Okay.
Our music scene is starting to see what we're doing, and they're starting to pick at little things that we're doing.
Wake up a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you know,
I just want to pop in to say that because I think you'd be perfect for it, what we're doing, and what somebody else is that we know.
I already mentioned Sam.
Yeah,
I am
No.
100% down. So whatever.
Awesome.
I mean, because like I said, we're an independent band, you know, so like we don't have a promoter, we don't have, you know, we don't book the tours through somebody. It's all do it yourself.
Yep.
So people like you that are actually out there doing something and creating something, that's the people I want to hook up with, because those are the people that have a passion for it. So so important.
Yeah, that's awesome. Right
and
on.
with all the BS going on, it's opening up a whole new virtual venue for everybody too.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we have some
big things in the work here in the future. So we definitely are going to be in touch and be working together again for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And like with us being in the Falls, I can pretty much spit on the border. So in between myself and the border is a venue here that's not normally a likely venue, but I'm really good friends with the people who take care of this place. So once we can start getting you across the border, whatever rules are happening here right now, it doesn't matter because we have freedom of the press ish. So we'll make sure that we absolutely put you in that venue, even if you guys are the only ones that are there, and do it through like virtual donations or something like that. Like we'll make sure that we can create some noise while we're here, and then once the world does open back up, we have opportunity to make more noise. You know, and we're only 4 hours away from you guys, so it doesn't matter which side of the border you travel through. But if you travel through Canada, we've got a few people in between us and you that if you feel like making a road trip out of it, we can stop and get you some more interviews, maybe another podcast, maybe a show or two on the way out here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Yeah, definitely. If you get
part of the detour.
Yeah.
Or, you know, traveling with rock stars or whatever we're talking about doing, and I'm already kind of behind the scenes working on, right? So
maybe we'll drive out there and then we'll drive back with you guys.
And do the road tour thing like that, and then
we'll document
cover the whole thing, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, cool. I'll figure it out. We'll definitely be in touch here for sure, man. We'll definitely stay in touch. And
yeah, for sure. It sounds like we just opened up a whole new project, Jay. How do you feel about another job?
Now you have the Cleveland connection, so you're dialed in Cleveland now.
I was supposed to be in Cleveland this summer.
Okay.
I'm serious. I was supposed to be in Cleveland this summer. As sad as it sounds, that's actually one of the areas I want to visit in the States.
Yeah, you were saying that earlier, and I think that's awesome. I was telling him that the nicest people in the world come from Ohio. He didn't believe me.
Pennsylvania is the worst drivers.
Yes, worse than Quebec.
Yep.
Okay.
When they come up there, they've almost ran me off the road, and I drive a freaking 1500 ramp.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, whereas you guys can't turn left on or turn right on a red, we can.
Most.
You can down there.
In some areas you can.
Unless it's posted. Most of the time we can.
Some areas in the States, there's no turning right on a red. Like in Buffalo, you can't turn right on any red. So they
I had that nice conversation with that police officer once.
Yeah. So they come over. People come over from the States and they get to a red light and they just sit there and we're like, turn, damn it, and because they don't know the rules, right?
Yeah.
And it's not posted because it's not a rule here. But Quebec is very much like that too. The drivers from there, they're probably equal to Pennsylvanian drivers.
Okay.
New Mexico's not that great either. New Mexico's not that great either.
Yeah.
I didn't mind New Mexico when I was down there last year.
We're definitely going to need to come up there when we release the new album. So that would
100%, man.
We're like rehearsing now so we can hit the ground running when the doors of opportunity open up again. So
and as much as we have a million hotels here in Niagara, I actually have a big space in my house to accommodate for bands that do come. So you guys are more than welcome to hang out here, do some interviews. There's always cooking going on in the kitchen, and it'll save you about $1,000 on hotels. Like we've got a bed we can put in there and stuff like that. Like we can totally accommodate to have you guys here instead of having to worry about that. So
invite accepted.
Awesome.
I'm so excited, man.
Walter's here. Walter's here.
Okay, hold on. Walter. I'm pretty sure this comment was for me saying I don't like Iron Maiden.
What did he say? What did he say?
It'll pop up.
Oh yeah.
It says you suck.
Walter's one of the biggest concert goer guys. Every concert I've ever been to, I'm pretty sure that guy's been there.
Walter has been to almost 10,000 shows.
Wow.
Yeah, he is our he's like the metal mascot for every band. And it's funny because all three of us are really good friends with him, and we're all really good friends on different accords. Like we didn't know each other when we all became friends with him, and now he's one of our all really good friends, but we don't all hang out together with him. We all hang out on different accords. It's really funny. But Walter, he is the ultimate music fan, and if he's watching this, if he doesn't already know your music, he's checking it out, and he's probably going to share it on his Facebook.
That guy, where you go in Ontario, he's at that concert, man. I've never not been to a show and not ran into that guy.
Yeah, Walter's at every show.
Scott, when I order a disc, you guys better sign it for me.
Absolutely.
Me too.
You know, that's what one of the most common questions.
I think Dablock's coming in, guys. I think Dablock's coming in. We're gonna go full Savage here by the looks of it.
Full Savage. I was like thinking I was gonna slip out, have a drag, make some breakfast.
No, you weren't.
No, bring D-Block in. Yeah,
here he comes. Here's D-Block.
Here's the other host.
It's growing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, you now have the full Savage Circle here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Welcome to the Savage Circle.
Well,
greetings.
Welcome to the.
Sorry,
TJ. Yeah. It's all good.
That's how you hijack a show.
Yeah.
That's actually how this came to be. TJ came down from Barrie to interview me, and he still hasn't interviewed me about my books.
No.
We ended up calling David and Jay and a couple other friends, and we just decided to go live to see what would happen. And here we are 10 weeks later with 13 channels, 1,000 shows, content for years.
And we even have commercials.
You see them pepper, yeah? You know them, Mac? Soulicious pepper sauce. Too hot for tech. XX Inferno. We have 2 flavor. Bring one for your friend or even your neighbor. Soulicious pepper sauce. Look on the ingredient. No fat in it. And we have spices, yes. Soulicious pepper sauce. We have the niceness. Put it in your drink and spice it up, yes. Soulicious pepper sauce. We have apron too. So worth to eat. Just right for you.
Right.
He's our shameless plug guy, man.
I like how, David, you redeemed yourself from last night.
Well,
yeah.
That is dope.
Yeah.
Hi, baby girl.
Yeah, that picture. I love that picture.
That was epic.
There's a story
one of my mini
behind
metalheads.
Oh, very good. So there's a story behind the album cover, actually. So it's actually the band. In our videos, we always have like a knight and a sorceress and a plague doctor. So they become characters, and they're actually going into the gates of hell. So the album's called Inferno. And what we did is I read Dante's Inferno, and then we did a song for every layer in Dante's Inferno. So
that's
very excited.
Cool.
Very excited for it.
Sure, I like it. I like that. I was just talking to an artist who was particular about people having concepts for their content. So to see that you had there was so many different layers to that, I'm glad I got involved in this conversation right now.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm definitely a history nerd and classic literature. It's awesome. I feel like it's a bedfellow of metal for some reason, like classic literature and anything medieval just works for metal. Now you got the Viking metal, so it's definitely proven. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna send some music your way, actually, from Empire to More, who just come out with a concept album, start to finish, about the end of the world and the changing of times, right? And if you like the concept, you like the old school literature and stuff, you'll really like this album, most likely, buddy.
Yeah,
I'll get it over to you. Cool. And then I got another band, Empire. Well, Your Last Wish. Their CD somewhere around here. There'll be another band you'll probably really enjoy as well.
Look up Protocult.
Oh, Protocult's amazing.
I have a question for you. I have a question for you guys. So, what was the last show each of you saw prior to the pandemic?
Ooh, okay. Well, I've got two because I work with a band. So the last show that I worked was Slightly Intoxicated at Duffy's Tavern in Toronto. But the last show that I went to was the Lucky Ones, Gag Order, and the Top Shots. And I spent the whole night in the pit for that show. That was my birthday show.
The birthday show.
For the month of February, every show is a birthday show. I did that show like the first week of March. And then because of what I have, I got locked down before everybody else. So it was really really nice to get. Yeah, I got locked down a week earlier. So getting to go to that show was definitely an experience.
Power Trip was my last big show.
Okay.
With High on Fire. A small show would have been the Electric Dead Halloween show. No, sorry. Dustwalker, a local band out of here, death metal band, horror band.
Oh, I was at a Dustwalker show a couple of weeks before I went to the Lucky Ones show.
Here's a question for you, Scott. Since you're involved in your local scene, let's hear some shout outs to bands that you look at to and enjoy listening to, or enjoy working with, or need some light.
So like I think I mentioned in the pre-show when we were chatting it up, there's a band in Germany called Maldurin.
They're actually on my list of bands to contact.
I saw you write that down, TJ.
Super cool. The guitarist Leo, a very progressive metal guitarist, is just excellent. He reminds me of Stevie Vai, if anybody knows like Stevie Vai, the guitarist. But he did some tracks that are actually going to be on this album. So
sweet.
We added more guitar to this album because our fans were like, you need more guitar, more guitar. So we listened to our fans. We added some more guitar.
Nice.
And then I liked what he did so much for us, and we kind of built a relationship. So he just asked me to do some drum tracks for his album. So I'll be working on drum tracks tonight for that. Who else do I want to prop out?
How about some local bands that you've worked with that you like, or local musicians, or
how about brand new musicians that are just starting out from your area?
There's another band in Cleveland called Tomorrow's Ghosts that are doing stuff like us. Other than that, I mean, there's Mushroom Head. They've reached a higher level than any of us.
I'm not a big fan of their new stuff.
I don't know too many local bands because the scene is so different than it used to be.
Especially now.
There was a goth band called Cold Link. They're pretty cool guys. But other than that, there's not a ton of local bands. There used to be, like, when I was growing up, Cleveland had all these crazy bands, like Shock Paris and Destructor and
Mia, would you like to jump in and ask a couple of questions?
You want to hear the funny thing? Half those bands you named,
because we need somebody to film the camera. So would you like to jump in and ask Scott a question about the
music? Hold on, David's saying something.
Here, put those on, and then you just ask a question. You don't want to do the interview?
I can't hear David.
Okay, I'll be right back.
No.
It's okay. You don't have to say it. You don't have to do it.
Like I did perform. I had they had a show like 2-3 days before their lockdown.
Okay, you played?
Yeah, I do a solo act. I also perform with a young man by the name of Zach Burry.
Okay.
We recently, well, I say recently, but it was Halloween. So recently, yeah, we released an album called Similar Differences. And we had, I think it was like a 6-show tour that we were ready to do. And then everything shut down. It was just like,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, everybody you're talking to is a musician or a writer.
Oh, great. Love
Of
it.
some
No
sort.
wonder why you guys feel like family.
yes.
I'm currently sitting in my guitar/bass studio.
Okay.
I'm
There's another
just in my
artist,
little podcast
local
booth.
artist I did want to prop out. He's called TechSpeak, and he does like Witch House.
okay.
So actually I toured with him playing drums for his album. He's on Cleopatra Records. So TechSpeak's really good.
Cleopatra Records, that's the same one that just signed freaking Green Jello, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. They're in LA.
Yeah.
Yep. They just signed Bill Manspeaker and his 900 musicians. No, he has
true,
a band
right?
in every area.
always-
Like we're good friends with one of
958.
Yeah, we're good friends with the Southern Ontario chapter and a part of the Michigan chapter, part of the Buffalo chapter. Like we know a lot of his people. They're everywhere.
Okay.
Quite a few of them,
Yeah.
actually.
That's impressive
yeah.
networking.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, he shows up. He shows up to a town and says, "I need a band," and people come flocking.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally on the new album that's coming out. I believe I am part of the backing tracks in a song or two.
Oh, very good.
2 of them, I think.
Oh, that's awesome.
That were recorded in Ontario.
Yeah.
Claim to shame. Excellent.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
The worst
Yeah,
band in the world.
Yeah.
Plug it where we can, man. For sure.
No, you have to, right? That's
Mhm.
why we're here. Let's get it
So-
out there.
So I have this story where I went to a Perfect Circle show to buy scalp tickets. I had $130 to buy 2 tickets. And this scalper was selling them for $150, and it was like 2 minutes before we got in the show. So this little short guy hands me this little ball of paper, and I open it up, and it's 2 tickets. And it's like the end of the scene from Detroit Rock City, where they beat the shit out of each other, and then they get into the show, right, where the guys open the doors and they walk in. That's what it was like for Jules and
I was
I.
an extra in that movie.
So right on. So we get into the show. And I'm standing by the bar. I'm having a beer, and this really tall guy comes up and, hey, how's it going, and whatever. Like I was 19. I had things on my mind that had nothing to do with music. So I had a bunch of beers bought for me, right? So this little short guy comes up to me later on, and he says, do you have any idea who you were talking to? And I said, no, like we had a couple of beers and whatever. And he says to me, that was Danny Carey. You might want to go get him to sign your ticket.
Wow.
So it turns out that this guy that gave us these tickets was Maynard's publicist.
Wow.
So his friends didn't show up to the show, and Jules and I were practically, like, I broke my glasses that night trying to get to the show. Like, we were outside, we were bumming, we were pissed, and this guy hands us these tickets, and it was the best night ever. So what's your best night ever? George Strombouopoulos has a best story ever. What's your best night ever?
It's very similar to your story. This would have been Metal Church and Anthrax.
Nice.
And it was sold out, and we got there. It was sold out, completely sold out, over capacity actually. And during Metal Church, the barrier that blocked the stage fell over. So they were throwing people out and throwing parts of the barrier out the door. So when the door would open, a couple of my friends would rush into the crowd.
Nice.
And I wasn't that aggressive, so I'm standing on the corner. Here's the tour bus, and I'm like, "What the hell? How the hell am I going to get into this show?" And Anthrax manager comes out of the bus, and my one friend Jim catches him and is like, "Hey man, we got thrown out during Metal Church. We love you guys. Any way you can get us back in?" And and he looked at him, and he's like, "All right, follow me." And then we got walked into the front door by Anthrax manager. And
amazing.
yeah.
Amazing.
Awesome.
That's my story, and I was just kind of like, did that just happen? Like that doesn't,
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's awesome. I love Anthrax. I do. I love it. Like out of the big four, obviously, like I love all of them, but Anthrax I think is my favorite.
This was the I'm the Man tour. So they did the I'm the Man on the stage and stuff. It was just ridiculous because at that time there was this fusion of metal and hip hop, and it was just insane.
Yeah, I got to see Anthrax open up for Slayer, so like, there's that.
Yeah.
I got to see Alice in Chains' very first Canadian tour date with Anthrax, Slayer, and Megadeth.
Amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, they were getting Alice in Chains was getting booed and things thrown at them, and they were more metal than anybody else. They just sat there and gave it all back and kept playing their whole set.
Yeah.
Sure.
When we saw Billy Talent at Heavy TO, because we all know they belonged there. Now I'm a fan, but they didn't mix well with all the music that they had already had for the lineup, you know, Slayer, Rob Zombie, stuff like that, Testament, and then you go and throw Billy Talent in there. But with them being a Canadian local band, like they were asked to be on the bill as a favor, and they did it. And there was a whole bunch of us there. 90% of the people that were watching them just to boo them. So like we got up right to the front of the stage and we were like, yeah, you guys are the best. And he was like, we're playing for you. We don't give a fuck about any of you. We're playing for you. So because like, I mean, they weren't in the right setting, but like, A, you don't do that to a band. And B, they played their whole set. Their whole set. Right. They played through everything. And that alone, even if I didn't like their music, that alone would make me a fan of their band. They played through the whole thing, and they didn't. Hey man, we were asked to be here. We're gonna play our show, and that's who we're playing for. Fuck you guys, right? We didn't ask to be here. We were asked to be here, type thing, right? We didn't ask to be on the bill. So yeah, like it's nice when you see bands like Jay's saying they, you know, like they get booed or whatever, and they play the whole show, because that's a story. 10 years down the road, look at Alice in Chains. They're massive.
I know.
Actually, later that year, they blew up. Later that year, it was an unstoppable world phenomenon with them because, you know, Nirvana went, they went, Soundgarden went. That's when the metal scene kind of changed a bit.
It did.
Yeah. Those bands actually changed metal and popular rock, right? Oh, yeah.
I got to see Alice in Chains open up for Jane's Addiction. And I'm a huge Jane's fan. And I'm a huge Alice in Chains fan too, but I wasn't going for Alice in Chains. I was going for Jane's Addiction. This might have been the only chance I'd ever gotten to see them. So I go in for Jane's, and Alice in Chains comes on after Jane's, or before Jane's, and just ruins Jane's performance, which their performance was amazing, but like they just stole the whole show. Sure. I went for Jane's and I left with Alice in Chains. Yeah. That was probably one of the only shows, though, from what I've heard, that Jane's Addiction didn't play Jane Says. I was really disappointed, clearly. But one of the best Jane's shows probably ever. It's the only one I've ever seen. That was the show that I met Rita at, actually. And it was a show that Josh Smith, one of the other guys that we work with, that was the first time I met Josh, was at that show.
I think David wants to say something.
What's up, David?
Going with all of this this experience, what would you tell yourself at the beginning of your career based on what you know now?
It's going to be a long road.
Don't expect to get rich quick.
Yeah, I've been in the music industry for 30 years now, and like
somebody like me.
You know, it's like it's a passion and stuff, but to be honest, you want to try and somehow make a living at it, and it's so difficult to figure out how to monetize it. And I don't mean to say that is like is in a capitalist way, but I mean, if you could make a living doing art, then you could make more art. So
then we wouldn't be starving artists.
Yeah.
No, right.
So definitely starving musician. you know, in fact, on our Facebook page, Dispel Music at Facebook, we're running a special, which is 50% off our entire catalog up to date. So it's like the full lore download, and it's the remix bundle. So we had a couple remixes done. There's a guy in Milwaukee called Plagues. And he's like this. He's a music prodigy, and he does witch house and stuff. So he did a witch house remix of one of our songs. And then there's the sound engineer in Erie called Lee Rockney. She did a song. She did a remix for us.
I've heard of her.
Constructive remix. And she used to work for Raven Sound, who used to do all the production out there.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of demos and like early mixes of our stuff, so that's included. And then we put 3 songs that will not be released on the Inferno album. So it's like 22 songs for $9.95.
What?
And it's kind of our band rescue bundle because we're so broke right now. So that's on our Facebook page. The link's on there. If you scroll down, you can click on it. It'll take you right to it.
Okay.
Are you guys on Bandcamp as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so excellent. Link, that's Dispel what?
Dispel Music at Facebook.
I have all the links, David. We'll be posting them, and I'll be sending them over to the Savage Circle.
Yeah.
So I have to say that to date, all of our guests have fantastic backgrounds, but yours absolutely is the most colorful. I love it. I do I'm walking around my house. There's clearly kids and mess and stuff like that kicking around. Yeah. You know, DJ's hanging out in his room. We all have different backgrounds, but I find like our guests really pick some really decent spots to sit, and the backgrounds are always like. Sometimes I'm like, and I'm not awkwardly staring. Sometimes I am, but like I'm paying attention to what's going on in the back of your like in the room that you're in.
Sure.
Because that background you guys are really nice.
This is normally like what we call the gaming room, because like we're gaming nerds. So we would like have friends over and play like Dungeons and Dragons in this room. So
nice.
It's got the medieval thing.
David looks up.
Scottish flag over here. Yeah.
I noticed the Scottish flag. My mom's from Glasgow.
I used to have the first edition of the Dungeons and Dragons books, the first 15 books that were ever published.
Yeah, it's very popular. It's seen a resurgence, A, because of the pandemic, and B, because of Stranger Things. So it's real popular right now.
Yeah.
No, right? We were always into it as kids and stuff, and we kind of grew out of it when Mom kicked me out. And then, you know, I had more worried about getting a place to live than playing, you know, but...
Well, that's really the inspiration behind the band was, you know, fantasy and, you know, medieval honor and courage and stuff like that. So like the lore CD is a concept album about the hero's journey. So we really tried to capture like that medievalism and the
hero's journey, like the book.
The hero's journey, like perhaps the book. Joseph Campbell was a lecturer who made it popular, but it's a common archetype in like early mythology, like the Epic of Gilgamesh, or Odysseus or Perseus. They went through the hero's journey, and it's kind of, there's different stages, like the call to adventure and the threshold stage and
and threshold guardians and all that stuff.
Yeah, but it's something we all go through in our lives. So there's times in your life where you're going to be challenged and you have to fight your demons, and if you're successful, you grow and you become a better version of yourself, which is absolutely important, because then it affects the people around you, and it affects your community, and then ultimately affects the universe, because you're achieving your full potential. So
now, have you ever read the Celestine Prophecy?
Yeah, I've read that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so like that's a book like for people who know what the hero's journey is. I always recommend that book. Or people who are like, I know what the Celestine Prophecy is. I'm like, read the hero's journey, because they're books that you can. How loud is my volume, Jay?
They're all right.
For you. Jay's going deaf over there. I watched him move his microphone.
You're not in the broadcast room.
Yeah.
So those books, the thing I love about those books is not only are you reading a story, but you're actually kind of like reading what you're going through in your own life. And it doesn't matter where you are in your life, you're always reading about you as well as reading these stories in these books. That I think they're great. They're amazing.
I think that's a sign of like good art is if you can reflect on it. It makes you reflect on yourself. That's definitely good art, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I have a question. Since Scott's been doing this as long as I have, and I vaguely remember my very first show ever. How long, like, what was yours? Do you remember it, or was it a blur like most?
Absolutely. It was it was Rush. It was Rush, the Grace Under Pressure.
No, I'm talking that you performed.
Oh, the first show we performed.
No, you as a musician.
It would have been at a local festival, and it was in a band called Civil Disobedience.
Why don't I know that name?
So
really?
Yeah.
I've Civil Disobedience.
Yeah, I mean, It was around for a minute. I was the first drummer, and then I got unceremoniously kicked out, and then
I'm gonna fangirl for a second.
They brought in a new guitarist. Actually, the guitarist Tom Rojak is kind of like a Cleveland legend. Unfortunately, he died, but he was an incredible guitarist. So yeah, back in the day, Cleveland had such an interesting music scene. It's just I miss it so much. It's crazy.
Wow. Sorry, I just totally fangirled. I think that's the first time I've ever done that on the show.
What, Civil Disobedience?
Why, because you were able to hide it last night and try and throw me under the bus?
What do you mean? I didn't throw you under the bus. You did that on your own with your rosy cheeks and your little kid smile. You did that on your own.
Hey, when I like musicians, and I follow musicians for, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I have musicians I like.
Yeah.
And they're not always all, big famous people. Like, I have a couple of local musicians I love to listen to. They're just great at what they do.
Yeah.
My kids are watching the show.
For them. Music, man. Like, it's admiration, you know what I mean? Like, it takes a lot to do what we do or try to do. And, it's the only way we pick each other up is if we support each other.
That's right. That's right. Go comment.
I have quite a few people that I admire and follow, and I hope to turn more people onto them.
How are you watching me?
That's why we're here, right?
Oh, okay.
What's up, David? You look like you have some deep thoughts going on.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here and I'm trying to figure out because I don't want to ask a question that you guys already went over, but at the same time,
ask away.
What like the driving forces behind your career, like the driving force behind your passion, like what gets you into the studio, what gets you to pick up those sticks and start playing?
That's a good question. That's a tough question. I don't know if I can even answer that. I'm just not happy if I'm not creating music. And
that was an answer.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with Jordan Peterson. He's a pretty popular guy from Canada.
I love Jordan Peterson. Sorry.
He talked up. I heard him say once that like if creative people aren't creating, they're miserable. And I was like, you're right.
That's right.
So, fortunately, I started playing drums like when I was 10. So right out of the get-go, like the gate, my mom was smart and she got me lessons. So I took it seriously from that point on, and it's just always been a part of my life. So if I'm not playing drums or writing music, I'm like, what am I doing with my life? So even though I haven't figured out how to make a living at it yet, I'm still plugging away at it because I have to, or else I'm miserable.
No, 100%.
One thing that Jordan Peterson, I can't believe you brought him up. I watched a lecture on him this morning, with him this morning, right before we started doing this interview. He's from Toronto. He's originally from Alberta, but he resides in Toronto. He works at the University of Toronto and stuff like that. Super controversial, but he's like right to the point, puts his shit on the table. And my favorite thing that he says is, don't compare yourself to who other people don't compare yourself to who other people are today. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. And I think like that kind of is where drive comes from, with, like you say, with creative people who are miserable when they're not creating. Because you compare yourself to yourself and you want to create more because you don't feel like we're our own worst critics, right? Like with me, 100%. With writing, I've written 3,000 poems and I still don't feel like I've written enough.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
so
when I go to say David's to do recording and shit, I do it in one take. Cause if I sit there and do more and more and more, I'll never get it to where I want it. So it's bam, here you go, man. Fuck, I can't get it better than that right there, you know. Or I'll destroy it if I keep nicking it and picking it and make it impossible to even play on stage because you know you've changed it so much. Right?
You were talking about the Misfits earlier.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And then since we're talking about Iron Maiden, we'll just go over here to this side.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's my favorite. He was my daughter's first toy.
Okay, that looked like, was that a Van Halen thing there also?
No, I've got this used to be a shelf that I painted into a Slayer thing. My window says Slayer.
Okay, I thought that was the Van Halen Diver Down.
Oh no, you know what? Okay. I'm probably the only person in the world, as much as I respect their music and their music amazing, they're just not my cup of tea.
Really?
I prefer coffee. Yeah. There's a lot of bands that people are like, what do you mean you don't like them? Like, same with Rush. I respect them totally. Not a fan, don't buy their stuff or anything like that. But I will say this. I saw them at Sarstock and they blew me away. So much so that I would pay for their tickets, Rush. And because I don't get the opportunity to see them again, I actually bought the Primus tickets for Farewell to Kings so that I could get another Rush experience. And I'm not a fan. I don't like AC/DC. I don't like Led Zeppelin. I feel like I'm disappointing you.
Do you like Black Sabbath?
War Pigs was the song that changed me.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, I have seen. Now on that note, I got to see Robert Plant on mushrooms in 2005, and it was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had.
I'll bet.
No joke.
So it was something. I've seen. Trying to think of who else I've seen. I've seen AC/DC twice. Okay. They were good. They were great live. I've seen all kinds of bands that I'm not fans of now live. I love them. They're great. And I respect their music. But as far as like what I listen to, what my preferences, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that was all music that got me into what I'm into now. Like I have Led Zeppelin albums. I have every AC/DC album. Not to say that I don't respect or collect it. It's just not my cup of tea. I drink coffee. So
you got to give them
the heavier the better.
What they did and
100%, 100%.
Right.
Recently, I've been getting into Opeth, so I like them a lot. If you like
They're
progressive,
amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
In fact, that was the last show I saw before the pandemic lockdowns.
Oh, really?
At the Cleveland Agora. We got this really cool music venue called the Cleveland Agora that's been around for ages.
Yeah.
So if you come to Cleveland, you want to see a show at the Cleveland Agora because of the history.
Well, maybe we should just plan a show around, plan a visit around a show then.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Or Scott can do some legwork and find out how much it would be to throw a show, and we can do something.
I might have a budget for that. Oh, I think I just spilled some tea. Did I just spill some tea?
Perfect.
So.
Why not?
Let's.
What's that? David's saying something. Can't hear him.
David, that was amazing.
It was.
Thank you so much. Was that another first?
Yeah.
So that was the first time that my logo has ever appeared on any of our channels.
Because
It also appears in the top right corner.
Oh, that's amazing. Look, you see that? That's me pretending to have a tear. Actually, that is a real tear. Like, I just... Oh, that's David! It must be my birthday. It must be 11 more days till Ric Flair's birthday.
Woo!
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Man, so, yeah, we just do, you know what I mean? We give each
Sorry,
other a hard
guys, I
time,
don't
but we
have to drag
also...
you. I'm like...
Others, like, we've been helping each other for the last 10 weeks, and things are definitely going in the right direction.
When, like, Scott, when you said family earlier, you definitely fell into I'll call us a family of weirdos. But you definitely fell into a family family channel. Even though we're 18 plus because of the mugs I use on TV.
Expose the North. We go there and beyond.
Family, but not fan friendly.
Yeah, we're family, but not family friendly. Absolutely. Well, unless you're my kids, because my kids are exposed to everything.
Okay, I have a question. It may have been said earlier when I was busy. May have been said when I was out. Who's the rest of the band?
Yeah.
Oh, good question. So, Raven C is our singer. Raven C is currently in South Africa. She is just finishing her master's degree in music therapy. And then she also has a vocal performance degree from Berkeley. So
that's not to snub your nose at.
No.
Yeah, she was really instrumental in Dispel because until I met her, I had all this music. I didn't even have a vocalist. And I met her at a drum circle. There's a local drum circle on Sundays that I usually attend. She was at the drum circle. We started chatting, and I was like, well, you know, I'm working on some music. I just need a vocalist. And she's like, oh, well, I can sing. I'm like, all right, well, let's give it a shot. I had no idea she had a vocal performance degree from Berkeley. So we start songwriting together. We write the lyrics in like 45 minutes. We go into the studio. She lays down the track in 2 hours. It's done, completed. And I was like, that went really smoothly. Like, that's not supposed to happen so easily. And then she's like, and then it wasn't until weeks later that she told me she had a vocal performance degree. And I was like, well, this makes sense. And that song we recorded was the first song we did, was called Modal Consequence. That's our first music video. So in that we got a questing knight who's going after the sword of knowledge. And then I met some local medieval enthusiasts. So they brought chainmail. So we put on the chainmail. They told me how to sword fight. So we do a sword fight scene in the video. And everybody says it's like Monty Python's Holy Grail. And I'm like, thank you. That's awesome.
Right?
Amazing.
That's a compliment, man.
What a nod. That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, we just started working together, and then I was like, you're so, like, originally Dispel was just going to be me as a producer. And then when I found her, I'm like, you're so good. You're in the band. Let's do this. And then we got a local guy called Sean Gallows, and he's like one of the goth fixtures in the scene. And he approached me and was like, hey, if you need any help. And I was like, yeah, anybody who's willing to help me, I'm down. And so he did some vocals for us. And he really brings that real deep gothic. He's like a legit deep gothic dude. And he's got like his own solo project called Silence Embrace, where he just released an album.
Write that down, TJ.
I'm writing that down.
I will get all that to put it on Bandcamp. And actually, it's him and our roadie. His name is Morgan. So yeah, I guess we got a little family here in Cleveland, but it's like I said, we're just waiting for the gates to open up. And one thing I've noticed with this pandemic, it seems like the braver people who are willing to adventure out and start doing things are the ones that are starting to accomplish stuff now. And then the other half of the people are just kind of staying at home and waiting for somebody to tell them what they can do. But if you get out there and start doing it now, and, you know, I think it's so important to hit the ground running, like I said earlier. So we're practicing, we're rehearsing the set. I'm hoping to do some Twitch live video when my singer's in town.
You're on Twitch right now.
Oh, you guys are? Okay.
Yeah, you're on Twitch right now.
So I'm going to have to pick your brains because then you guys can tell me how to do it properly. So this is
definitely
great.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh,
definitely.
Talk to me or David.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say David or Jason will be the guys on our side to talk to you about helping you out and setting you up for there. And then
yeah,
we'll
they're
go
our
from
tech
there with
guys. They're the reason that this happened so smoothly this morning.
Oh, that'd be great.
I left it, and I thought I was going to be able to be on board, but then I was just like, things just kept happening because of this whole law of attraction thing. Everything's just coming towards me right now, so I'm just like, okay, I can't push it away because if I push it away, I might miss an opportunity. So I'm just like dealing with it as it happens, and it's just like, okay, I'm glad I got to be here for part of this because, like I said, I like meeting new people. This is like a culture shock for me, kind of thing. Because like I have been in a metal band before, believe it or not, but to get insight from people in the scene who have been doing it for as long as you have, like the tenure, I can't replicate because I spend a lot of my time studying other genres of music. So I'm looking at this as an opportunity to kind of get familiar with music on a different level and possibly even revisit those days of metal. So, yeah.
You want to see Amanda geek out in a second?
Oh, Jesus Christ. What are you going to do to me now, Jay?
Tommy messaged me. He said, last night was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
Oh, excellent.
And I told him anytime he wants to come to the show, he's more than welcome. Just shoot me a message and we'll make it happen, even if it's last second. Same with you, Scott. Like, this is
fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I extended the offer for the book last night, and I did the same with Scott earlier. So I really want to create a series where like we're working I'm working individually with musicians or bands. You know, it really doesn't matter, anybody in the industry, to create these books so that we can create another avenue for merch, and I can stay relevant as a writer because it's not easy, right? So and we split whatever it is that we make, but then we put all these books in like to a volume, like a series, a volume series, because you know I haven't had enough coffee today, and we are able to like make a bigger hardcover of all these stories and get it out as well. But it's a new avenue for merch because if we're trying to find new ways to do things, stay relevant, stuff like that, like I mean, with Sofa City Sounds, I add 18 bands. I work for every band that I work with for free. So, like, I will never charge you a dime for anything I ever do. And now that you're a part of the Boneyard, you're a part of Sofa City Sounds, which means anything you need from me, work-wise, writing-wise, anything I will do for free for you. In exchange for me to be able to write a biography about you guys and put it in my book.
Absolutely.
But then we also have this kids story concert series that I'd like to work on as well. And yeah, like you've got some good material there. So like this is how we stay relevant. We expand these things out to each other. You want to figure out how to do things that my team can do, and we want to figure out how to expand with you and get you guys out there and stay relevant. Because like you said, the people that are waiting to be told what to do, they're going to be waiting a long time to be able to get out and enjoy their lives.
Sure.
You know, and if we put as much energy into living as we do not dying, at least we're going to enjoy not dying a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Right?
David's saying something.
The ways that we can overcome issues as creative performing artists during a complicated endeavor such as a pandemic. Sorry, I had to go upstairs.
Yeah, that's all good, bud.
Big man don't run stairs well.
No.
I know.
But like my cardio's down from not performing as much. Like I used to bounce all over the stage, and I'm just like,
right.
No. And now
well, you're also 6'6", like, David.
Wait. Hold on.
It's like Andre the Giant running up the stairs.
Oh my gosh, that man was a monster.
Oh, I just got connected to the Berettas.
Oh, what's the Twitch channel? What's your Twitch channel so I can add you guys?
Savage Circle.
Savage Circle.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll do the same. Once they help you figure out your end too, we'll definitely follow you.
Did you add me on Facebook?
Maybe you can teach me a thing or two about Twitch.
Yeah, I'll definitely link up with all you guys from here on out.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, I did not. I just had spoke to TJ, so I didn't know that this was this whole collective of these creative people.
Neither did
and all
we.
these different things.
Neither did we.
Yeah, we actually
often.
We hijack TJ's shows all the time.
yeah.
What were you saying, David?
It's all good.
I said for good reason and with good purpose. No, I don't know. TJ, you must have that universal gift because he went to do a show with Amanda, and then that evolved into the Savage Circle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
David, how did we meet?
But now we have the Breakfast in the Boneyard, and then there's the Boneyard updates, and then you have I brought a couple of shows into the mix too.
What are they?
Like Candid Conversations, which I would not mind hosting you on. It's basically we kind of strip down the madness and have like a one-on-one conversation. Sometimes it actually blossoms into something like this, but we talk about life and how, like, you know, without restrictions. Then like there's the other show. There's a couple of shows that we have. The Terrell Effect that has music that focuses mainly on the music of the artist. So we had like next week I have an artist on, but I can't remember their name. Sorry, but
because that's how we advertise the guests we love.
But yeah, we have a whole bunch of stuff going on where like we're all working towards a common goal, and instead of competing with each other like crabs in a bucket, we're building each other's brand. It's Sebastian.
That's a great Q-Tip song.
Yeah.
But
I like your analogy about the crabs in the bucket. Like I feel like that so much, you know, like it's crazy, you know.
We figured we just bring everybody along for the ride, because like if we go along for the ride without everybody else, then who's going to be there to support us, and who are we going to be able to be there for? And that goes for everybody individually. You know what I mean? If you guys don't take your fans along for the ride, then what are we all doing this for? You know, we do it to take we need to be lifting each other up. We're in a time where everybody has pushed each other down so much that nobody knows what to do right now. You know, the misinformation doesn't help, but like we need to create something. Sorry, what, David?
And then they see people like me who's all positive and happy and joyous, and they're just like, "What's wrong with you? What do you mean?"
Exactly. I had somebody message me and get mad at me because I don't sit on the phone and talk to them all day long because I'm busy writing and keeping up with musicians and trying to make a living for myself and create something for my daughters to take when I'm gone. So like, I mean, we really live in this weirdly skewed world of, hey, you're not doing what I need you to be doing, or, you know, you're not miserable like me, so I have to rain on your parade.
But
you know what I mean?
What? I got it. And I don't want to be morbid, but I was just thinking about it myself. Like, if today was my last day, what would my legacy be? And
if I were to wake up dead tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that. What do you think yours would be? I don't know what mine would be. I think it might have to do something with raising hell on political lines. But I don't know. Depends on whose eyes you look at it from. From my family's eyes, it might be for my music and my advocacy. But like, what would your legacy be? Like, what would you?
Well, I'm a firm believer of you don't want to be on your deathbed and be full of regret. So what I'm doing with the music is I'm just pursuing the hell out of it, and whatever it takes, I'm not taking no for an answer. So whenever that deathbed moment comes, I can at least be like, well, at least I went for it, you know? Because if you don't, if you don't go for it, you're definitely going to fail. But if you go for it, you just never know. So, and I've always heard that if you're doing the thing you're supposed to be doing, the universe is going to give you little good luck cookies along the way to help you on that journey.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's a very, very good question. But yeah, I think just pursuing that your passion. So when the time comes, you're on your deathbed, you're not facing regret.
Yeah, because I said I don't want to be on my deathbed like, oh no, if I had only done that one thing.
Yeah, but it's over, right?
In 2018, I had 2 out of the 3 heart attacks I've had. And I actually had that experience where at 35 years old, I didn't know if I was going to live or die for an entire month. And I regretted everything I did in my entire life, even the good stuff I did, because I had bad stuff to regret. And February 1st of 2019, I changed my entire life. And that's why I had inserted the sentence, if I wake up dead tomorrow, am I going to be happy with what I did today? Every single day I live my life, I live it like I'm not going to wake up tomorrow, because I had that opportunity to not wake up tomorrow.
Wow.
I've had more blood transfusions than Keith Richards, and I put fucking money on that. I'm not even joking. I swear to God I have. And the thing is when you're right, when you wake up doing what you love, the universe gives you everything that you want. And like in February of 2019, I dropped everything. I said, fuck it. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm doing what I want. And I went straight for my writing, and it's brought me right to this interview, these relationships, the amazing people that are in my life. My daughters, I homeschool my daughters, and they have such an amazing education system because it's based on what they want, based on who they are, who they want to be when they're older, stuff like that. I'm just so grateful I get to wake up every single day. And, you know,
even
like
Sunday.
I think more of us need, yeah, even Sunday at 5:30 in the fucking morning.
Yeah.
I don't know if obviously you didn't know this was going to happen. I have a potty mouth. I apologize for no filter, for nothing. I mean,
Well, yeah.
So, but yeah, like, I mean, the more grateful we are, the more the universe gives us those cookies and says, hey, listen, like you deserve this. And we have to believe that we're deserving of these things. So many people believe that we wake up to go to work for somebody else and go to bed and wake up and work. No, no, and TJ, you're doing the same thing that I'm doing. Fuck it. Let's just do what we're supposed to be doing. And this is what we're supposed to be doing. And we've made it this far, and we just keep going every single day, you know, and it's nice to meet like-minded people.
You have to be the architect of your own life.
Yeah.
You know, you have to create your life. No one's going to do it for you.
Yeah.
You're a product of your own environment, right? If everything around you shit, maybe take a look at what you're doing. You know, like, why is everything shit around me, right? Like,
yeah. I used to work with a woman. Her name, I got her. I'm gonna give a shout out to somebody very important to me. This D on my shoulder right here, aside from terrible jokes, this D on my shoulder is for a woman named Deb Nansen. And she's the reason that Sofa City Sounds started, because we needed to raise some money for the local projects around here, as far as like the homeless goes and the prostitution and stuff like that. We really wanted to make sure we could make a difference in people's lives. So this woman, her motto was create yourself a great day. And that's the first thing I thought of listening to you guys talk about that, about being your own creator and your own architect and stuff like that. She always said that.
Something we didn't do last night on the Savage Circle was let everyone know where our charity money was going this time.
We raised $120 on your potty mouth and emptying our pockets for 9 weeks.
Yeah, I got a swear jar from over on the Savage Circle, so yeah. But it's like Scott was saying earlier, like when we were first speaking, probably just over a year ago, it was just me and my phone driving around. I couldn't interview anybody, right? And then, like Amanda said, I was supposed to just interview her about her book. I got a hold of her, and then we got talking. And next thing you know, I'm like, be my co-host. And then, poof, David and Jason appear out of nowhere on the first show that Amanda and I did. And we're 10 shows deep together on the Savage Circle. And now we're partnering up in the Boneyard, obviously, because we're all here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we're starting to make some noise too. I'm going to shout out one of our sponsors, Space Age Insulation. They personally sponsored TJ as well as the Boneyard, and that sponsorship is spilling over into the Savage Circle, which is amazing. The more sponsorship we get, the more we get. Listen to my fantastic grammar. You can't tell I was married to you at all. Listen, you. But the more sponsorship that we can get for our podcast, the more that we are able to boost others because of what we do and how we conduct ourselves. It definitely gives us the opportunity to put others on the map. Like Jay, we're still working on his media and stuff, but like Jay has Savage Records and David does recording and has a bunch of podcasts, and I'm a professional writer and biographer, and TJ has his own podcast.
I just do whatever.
And you know, like now we've got this major network that we can network other people, and we're starting to get sponsorship in and stuff like that so that we can start sponsoring bands and areas and charities and stuff like that. So like you're really coming in, as far as the law of attraction goes, you're really coming in at a good time. And we're definitely meeting and making great like contacts. And
universe might make you wait a little bit, but when it's ready for you, boof, it gives you that peace. You know what I mean?
The only reason the universe makes you wait is because you don't believe you're deserving to have these things.
No.
When you just believe you're deserving, the universe gives you whatever you want, man.
Truthfully, and there's a lot of people who are scared to chase after their ambition. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people who, oh no, I can't do it because I don't have their support. No. You have to be. I have to tell when I wake up, I tell myself this: there are 7 billion people to tell you that you can't do it. You got to be the one yourself that you can. So,
one of my older brothers said to me when I was 13 years old, "Fuck those who don't believe in you, Amanda," and I've never turned back.
Sure.
I started writing when I was 6 years old. I started drinking when I was 13. I started writing again when I was 25, and I've never looked back.
Yeah.
I drank for many reasons, but I always wanted my writing to be a love, not a chore, right? Mm-hmm. And that was the excuse because I was drunk, right? And then all of a sudden I was like, why am I not doing this? I've been doing it my whole life. I'm good at it. I don't have to think about writing. I just do it, you know? And once I started trusting myself and believing that I was deserving to be a writer and be published, and I was deserving to have the things that came along with that, because writing is so obscure now. People don't do it like they used to. Everybody's got a fucking keyboard. Everybody's a warrior. You know, like you can publish in so many easy ways and stuff like that now. But I just kept going and going and going. And now I'm the only person in Canada that does what I do. I use books to network. As far as like musicians and stuff like that go, and I compile biographies and stuff, and it's a good way to keep people in touch and network and expand and stuff like that. And we have to believe that we're deserving to do these things. You know, we all have a story, but we all deserve to have our story have a happy ending. Wow, listen to me sounding all poetic and shit.
Yeah, fucking fairy tales.
I was just going through my notes and I realized I have something to advocate on. So if you were to take charge on any global issue, what would it be?
Ooh, Miss America question.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I guess it would be rescuing the arts and like all the music venues that got shut down and starving artists in Europe. At least last time I was there, the government supported like bands and musicians. Like they would like support them to create. I guess it would be a more creative thing. Now our singer Ravensea, she actually does music therapy to underserved communities in Kenya and South Africa. So like she's got like her own organization and she's like full on doing music therapy for underserved communities.
So
that would be great for candid conversation.
Being through her, I'm kind of a champion of that. So I've been trying to get her in touch with people that I know that are influential and that have capital behind them. So
please put her in touch with us.
Yeah, I guess for the band as a whole, I guess it would be music therapy to underserved communities.
I would go more in depth in the conversation about what you're doing as well as what she's doing. I'm trying to, for March, I'm working on making the theme International Women's Month in line with I'm trying to work on the themes. Like with this month, it's Black History Month, so the magazine is centered around like the Black businesses and things of that nature. But for International Women's Month, I don't find, and I'm saying this from a male's perspective. Don't worry, Amanda. I'll get to you in a second. We don't really support women as much as we can where it comes to the arts.
No, as David and I were talking last night, I gave him a whole arm length of people that I work with as far as female singers and goes that've been on the show and that I stay in touch with. So yeah. I'll definitely get you in touch with a few of those women who are big inspirations in, say, the singing scene and such, right? Or like getting out there just like the men, growling, screaming in the mic, being the front man of the fucking band, right?
Nice. What were you going to say, Amanda?
Okay, so on that, I will say that for a long, long, long time, the metal world has been a man's world. Yeah. There are way more of you guys than there are of us. But I will say that being and look at the fucking selection. Thanks.
Yeah.
So Scott, we'll leave you out of that one.
You got your who else?
But hang on. Hang on. There's more. Okay. So, but I will say, those of us women that do work in the metal community, I have never had an issue of disrespect from any man that I have worked with. But I will say that, and I know, David, you love how much I'm wearing this out, but I'm going to do it because my balls are still bigger than yours, and that's why they sit on my chest. And that's the thing. Like, there's fewer of us, but most of us have been very welcomed. And those of us that are in this industry, I have to say that we are very strong, confident women. So yes, there are fewer of us than there are of men, but for the women that are in the metal community, we have an amazing family of women. Like Karina Davies, she's one of the promoters here in Toronto, and she's got one of the longest resumes I've ever seen with some of the most amazing bands and venues and stories and history and stuff like that. Jillian Underhill, she owns Niagara Metal. She's one of my best friends. She's the one we raised all the money for. She actually runs the homeless shelter here in Niagara Falls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she owns Niagara Metal. She's a promoter here. She also does all kinds of other stuff. She does Fanatics, and she makes pillows, and she does dog bandanas for charity, and like she's an incredible woman. So yeah, so like I mean, the women of us, those of us that are here in the metal community, that are women, we get a lot of support. Those of us that do make it. Now there's women that walk into this community and they're like, oh, I'm just gonna do whatever because, and it like, I mean, they're run over in minutes of you have to be a strong person to be in this industry. Absolutely.
Boisterous than they need to be.
Pardon me?
They kind of take away from, you have people that are more boisterous or more like, you have the damsels in distress. Oh, I can't stand a damsel in distress.
Pull up your fucking pants, man. Seriously.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and the problem is, for me, I'm a big dude. Like, I'm 6'3", 280 pounds. So,
yeah.
Like, when I see my wife, when people see me and my wife in public, she's like 5'4".
She's smaller than me, and I'm 5'5".
Yeah, she's 5'4". Okay, so like they see us and they think, oh, look at the big bad black guy. No, man, no, that's some bullshit. That's a stereotype.
Yes, Jenny's a dangerous one.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, and two, like, I mean, on the flip side, there are a lot of musicians that do try to take advantage of the women that are in this scene, men and women, as far as musicians goes. Like, I absolutely
people try to take advantage of me. Women all the time are trying to take advantage of me, right? Like,
well, yeah, you and your gray jogging pants. Don't forget though, your boneyard demographic is up 300 because of not your gray jogging pants.
Where do you draw the line?
Pardon?
Where do you draw the line though? When is the situation, like, I guess, I don't know, because I'm looking at the whole dynamic where a lot of men look at it from a sad perspective where they think that the woman's trying to get with them. A lot of women look at it from the perspective that the man's trying to get with them. But there's situations where the man genuinely just wants to help the woman without any strings attached. But there's a miscommunication because of society's perspective on a relationship between a man and a woman.
Well, first of all, if you want to be a woman in this industry, you take your politically correct garbage and just throw it out the door, because it doesn't work as a woman in this industry. I can't tell you how many times I've been grabbed in the mosh pit. I can't tell you how many times I've walked past somebody and they've rubbed my back. Oh, sorry. You don't do that to a man. Don't touch me. But on the same token, like yeah, there is a line to draw, but like you got to understand, like when I body surf, I got to understand that people are going to touch me or I'm going to fall on the fucking floor. You know what I mean? Like it's like you go into these exactly. You know what I mean? I'd rather some asshole, well, I'm body surfing, mind you. I'd rather some asshole grab my ass and me smack my head on a cement floor.
Well, you can even use Amanda and I as an example of just us starting to work together. And since we became co-hosts, I don't know how many people, are you guys fucking? No, man, we worked together, man. Like, there was never even that issue from the first time we ever met. We never even were like, ooh, maybe. It was always work professional. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, when it comes to work, like, you don't shit where you eat. So, you know, like, you got to stay professional, especially because, like, a lot of bands here interact and they interchange members and stuff like that. So, like, even though it's one guitar player or one drummer, they play in 10 different bands, and if people don't understand that, they think you slept with 10 guys.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? Right. And no, seriously, shit gets misconstrued like that, right? So, like, I mean, you just don't do that stuff as a woman in this industry. Now, that being said, the person that I'm with is in this industry, but we both have an understanding that this is what we do. I interview people, I write with people, I spend time with people. This is what I do, you know, and if you can't handle that, that's fine. So he tours, you know, all over the place. And hey, if I can't handle the fact that he's got a job to do, then this isn't it for me. You know what I mean? And as long as we can both understand that.
So outside of music, because everybody has their own idiosyncrasies. I just wanted to say a big word. I'm sorry. Everybody has their quirks. So, like, for me, for a while, I actually used to knit. I can still knit. I haven't knit in a while, but that's one of those things that no one would expect me to do. So, what kind of craft or quirk do you have that you're comfortable sharing that nobody would expect you to have? Like,
this is your admit one.
I think the fact that we're gamers and we play Dungeons and Dragons is one of those things that actually does influence the band. Personally, on my time, I'm usually mountain biking or hiking, so I guess I'm like a nature spirit.
Nice.
A friend of mine I was down in Montreal and we were talking. Actually, he was on the show out of D Skins, the lead singer there. He said, "I'm a man of the forest." And I was like, yeah, that's how I feel. Cause we did our interview outside in the park. We didn't want to be inside and shit, right?
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, like you, I'm a man of the forest. I like to be outside, like to be in the woods or camping or like you said, biking or hiking, right?
It's like soul food.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Speaking of soul food, because we usually have a potluck podcast on Saturdays, what is your signature dish?
Well, I'm a very strict vegetarian.
Oh, okay.
So I guess my signature.
Good to know. Write that down, TJ.
Would be grilled avocado.
Grilled avocado.
Oh, the only food I'm not allergic to that I won't eat.
What? Avocado?
I like avocado like that.
Definitely. No, I got onto avocado recently. I'd say over the last 8 months, and I find if like the palm-sized ones in Jamaica we call them pear, but the ones that are about the size of your palm, if you eat a half an avocado, that will put you over for at least 2 to 3 hours until your next meal. like I don't know if it's I think it's the fats, the fats that is a part of it, and it just I find and I get to the point where I go without it for a couple of weeks, and then I binge on it, and then I get kind of sick of it, so that I go without it for a few more weeks. But it's like, okay, what fruit or vegetable would you say has a bad reputation for, like, I guess has I'm not saying not a bad reputation, but has like the wrong reputation for its taste?
Like usually people don't eat their greens, but if you're a vegetarian, you usually love them. I think mushrooms get a bad rap. They're incredibly important.
I like them when they're done properly. Like, I can't just eat them, unless there's a purpose. But
I will say we share 30% DNA with mushrooms, eh?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Look it up. They're also the largest living organism in the world, which is actually located here in Canada. It's, I think, 3.5 kilometers of an area that is all one solid mushroom community.
Holy shit.
I got the wrong map up, or I'd point to it. This is my Virginia map. That's my Georgia map, my world map. Oh, I don't have my Ontario map up. I pointed out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wow. Okay, so mushrooms. Have you ever tried stuffed mushrooms with cream cheese?
Sounds great.
Yeah,
I'd
stuffed
be down.
mushrooms. Yeah, that is
great.
Pop the stem out. Pop the stem out, and then like spoon the cream cheese into the cap of the mushroom, and then like whatever cheese you like. You can put like mild cheese or mozzarella or whatever. Pop it in the oven for about 10 minutes on, say, 375, and it comes out like it's like I can't even describe it. It's got its texture still, but like the cream cheese kind of melts as you bite it, and it's just a overall just warming sensation.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So when you come on into Ontario and we have you on the show at the table, we'll make sure we make the menu, and we'll get LG down to help us cook that night, and we'll do up a whole vegetarian feast. Actually, one of the bands we have coming on March 1st or May 1st is Cross Dogs. They're all vegetarian. So May 1st, yeah. So we'll have to accommodate for them as well for food.
Yeah, there's a place called the Vegan Hippie Chick out here in Welland. I would be remiss not to mention them, as I performed there a few times.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So I often say, like, if you want vegetables done right, that's where you go.
Oh, maybe we'll do it that way then.
Maybe, I've heard that quite a few times.
I'm not 100% sure. Like, I don't know where my connections are with them, but I could talk to them and see if they're willing to host an event. 1 or 2 shows now and again.
Hey David, why don't you extend some communication about maybe having them sponsor us with a meal, so that we could maybe drop their name all over the place with advertising and stuff and create a new connection.
I presented promotion to them before, but I was kind of jammed up.
Okay.
So I don't know where that lies, but
I got a pretty good act for that kind of thing. Maybe I'll.
Well, if I'm in town, I would definitely go there for sure.
Well, that's good to know.
Business I could get behind. Yeah.
Well, then, David, maybe you should mention that to them, that we've got some out of town friends that are interested in. Yeah.
They deliver, so we'll get it sent over to you.
Yeah.
It's like 5 minutes up the road from my house. Like I said, I had their battered. It's funny that we're talking about mushrooms. I had their battered mushrooms. Impeccable.
I love battered mushrooms.
I do too, actually.
I tried their mozzarella sticks, forgetting I was at a vegan restaurant. And I was there like, oh, this is melting so well. That's nice. Finished the whole thing. Then I'm just like, wait. Vegans don't eat byproducts of any animal.
No, right?
What the hell did I just
that? Probably soy.
It was soy. Yeah. It was definitely soy, but like it was so good that I didn't think about it until I was done it. So, and that,
that's another. underrated food is tofu because it sucks the flavor up of whatever you're cooking with. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you don't just eat it raw, obviously, like you gotta throw it in with your food and stuff when you're cooking with it, right?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely a fan of that as well. So yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, that's great. That's awesome. Okay.
Well, fuck. I only expected 45 minutes, half an hour. Here we are, 2 hours later. You know.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like friends chatting it up, you know.
Oh
yeah. That's
you can't go wrong with good conversation.
I really like this guy. I really like this guy. He's got the whole way. You know what I mean? Like.
But this is how we create our networks and our friendships and our families, is we just kind of go with the flow and let things happen the way they do. That's how this started. Like when I started talking to David, it was it was because he had me on his show about he had me on Candid Conversations to talk about what I had been through with it. Nice, David. With the things, you know, like my blood transfusions and being in the hospital and stuff like that. So like when David met me, it was all like normal people conversation, you know, the health, the weather, how much the Leafs suck, stuff like that. So, you know, so when I invited David over for this podcast, because we, like, TJ and I started talking, we were like, well, we should co-host and whatever. And then I said to TJ, I was like, well, fuck it. Instead of interviewing me, why don't we just see if we can pull this shit off? Right. So in 2 hours, we decided, like within 2 hours, we had like 6 people in my house. And we had cameras everywhere. Yeah, and it was our first show on December 5th. So David shows up thinking that he's going to sit at this, you know, this polite woman's table who's been through all kinds of things and whatever. And he sits down and he's like, ooh, chicken wings. And I was like, yeah, you better watch the ones you eat. Right? So we started doing music trivia, and David got a question wrong and he ate one of the chicken wings, and I think he cried a little inside. And we got it on video. He had no idea. But the thing is, David, is like we always tell the story like you had no idea what you were walking into. Like we always say, he walked into this tiny little white girl's house and he left a changed man.
I'm not gonna lie. Like when I was putting it together in my head, I'm like, I'm going to Niagara Falls. There gonna be a lot of white people. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I was, you know what I mean? I love me some white people. They're great. So I wasn't thinking I'm gonna walk into a room. There's gonna be a group of white people. On the table's going to be some of the hottest spices I've ever eaten. And I'm going to walk away completely, like with a completely different on stereotype. Yeah. That's what I got. I got a culture shock. I'll admit it. It was a good culture shock. I was just, and like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they always stereotype, like, usually from what I'm like familiar with, they stereotype my culture, like black people, for eating spices a lot.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the truth. Not all of us do.
Not like we do.
No, right.
But what I was gonna say to that was like TJ expected to interview me about my book, and it like none of us knew what was gonna happen. Jay didn't know what he was walking into. David didn't know what he was walking into. TJ and I had never met before. So TJ had no fucking clue what was going on, right? And I had no idea that I was going to host one of the best parties I've ever had since I've been sober, and that was 13 years ago. So, you know, like, and then all of a sudden we were all just like, hey, you know, we should do this again. And we didn't even hesitate. We started on Boxing Day, and we just kept going and going and going. And we booked, we're booked all, pretty much the whole year is booked. You know, so we had to create new shows like the Monday Night Mashup and this breakfast show. And, you know, and like Sofa City Sounds has got a few ideas with my concert books and stuff like that. And Jay's got the record company going, or, you know, started. And David's got all his branding and networks and stuff like that. So we just figured it was a good idea to bring all this stuff together and see where we could go. And every time we pull in another musician, we create almost a whole other, not just project, but like company to do things with and to do things through and stuff like that. So
yeah, like, I was gonna ask, when does the record label start? You know, you got a writer, you guys got publicists, you guys could probably do social media, you could, you could do promotions, you guys could have your own little company.
I'm already running a record company. We just figured it would be easier if we created one for the collective so that the parts could be equal, but we're still working on some of the behind the scenes details. So for now, it's like individually, we each provide like a service that, we collectively come together to offer.
To accomplish the main goal or the end game, which is get everybody's music out there in one way or another.
We seem to be make your own Happy Meal collective. Like we're kind of like the buffet. Like if you just want some salad and a little bit of dessert, you can have that. But if you want the whole 12-course meal, you can have that too. I noticed that a lot of companies that do multimedia, multitasking and stuff like that, they only offer certain packages. So you get recording and a couple of CDs for X amount of dollars or whatever. And it's only that certain package that they offer. Whereas we're like, okay, listen, you need 12 CDs, 14 t-shirts, 4 hours of recording time. We've got a writer that can have, and we kind of collectively pull all those things together and create packages to the musicians.
They only want to do an interview. That's it. Here we go. We'll just do an interview for you.
Exactly. We cater to what you need so that we all get what we need.
It's like a media circuit of sorts.
Yeah. And I wish I could find
a great way to describe it.
Not circus, circuit.
Actually, both.
Oh, I thought you said circus. I was like, yep.
I'm trying to find our business plan. I think it's in my room. I really want to flash that.
Yeah.
So,
well, I do stuff I do have to do today.
I just want to get one more question, at least one more question in. Dungeons and Dragons, where does it compare? They don't have do they have a digital, an app for that?
Yeah, I'm sure they have online stuff. But I think the appeal of Dungeons and Dragons is having people over and the camaraderie of working together. And for us during the pandemic, we had a bunch of old friends from high school who had been playing 20 years ago. We reconnected. So just having them over was like a social event because you couldn't get that anywhere else. So it's the camaraderie of being in person and problem solving. And so that's the real appeal, is the in-person aspect of it.
Well, you work as a group. Like you said, you create that camaraderie amongst each other to accomplish the goal that you haven't set for the night,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
My phone's not charging properly.
Miss playing it, it's been so long, but that was something we did as kids too. That was a big thing for us, right?
It's definitely something that's universal.
Yeah.
Why is this not working?
You could go anywhere in the world and be able to play that game with the else that plays that game, So that's the goal.
Well, and it's kind of like the metal uniform. It connects all of us misfits together,
Yeah. All right. So,
and on the note of us misfits being connected, what do you want to say before we disconnect?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
I would first I want to thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate what you're doing. Anybody who would be interested in the band Dispel, we're very active on all the social media, especially Facebook. I really use Facebook a lot to communicate with our fans. So Dispel Music on Facebook. Dispelmusic.com takes you to our website, and there's videos and interviews, and I put blogs up there and our merch. That's kind of our hub, is dispelmusic.com. And just want to thank you guys for your time. You're doing something cool. We're definitely going to connect because when we come through Niagara and Canada, I definitely want to work with you guys. And also I got to figure out how to do this Twitch. And if you guys are already doing it, I'm going to have to pick your brains and all that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out for sure.
We're here to help every step of the way that we can.
Yeah.
But if you message me or Jay, we'll help you with the Twitch. You can even message me as soon as you're done this, and we'll talk about it.
And how do I find you? How do I find you, David?
I'm David DeBlock Tyrell on Facebook. DABLOCK. David DeBlock
I can
Tyrell.
actually send you each other's names through my chat with Scott here, and then you guys.
That'd
can
be great.
Yeah, so can you send him mine as well, please? Because I don't know
if
if
we
we're
have it
connected
all
or
in
not.
one central location. That would be awesome.
Well,
Yeah,
what
no,
we can
that'd be
do,
cool.
actually, TJ, you know how to open up group chats, no?
No, but I can very well learn real quick today.
So,
One of us will open up a group chat between the 5 of us, and we will start getting things nailed down for when the universe allows us to hang out together.
Jay said he can do it. He's going to do it.
Perfect.
Perfect. Thanks,
Jay's got
Jay.
it. Excellent. You're awesome, Jay. Jay's the
All
guy.
Yeah. Yeah, Jay's our guy. Jay is our guy.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So,
all
right.
So, did you say?
Well, I appreciate you.
Did you get to shout anybody out? Yes,
yeah, I'll send a shout out to my singer Raven C, and just shout out to you guys for putting in the effort and actually doing it. So
Thank you. Thank you.
We appreciate the acknowledgement there, man, and keep up the great work. Obviously,
yeah.
I was a top fan on your page for a while there. I got to try and get my status back up there again, and then
yeah, it's funny because you reached out to me a year ago and you're like, hey, let's do an interview, and then a pandemic later, here we are.
No, finally making something happen, and now we're gonna make even more shit happen. So this is great.
He just wanted to make sure that it was the perfect interview. That's all.
He's got the whole cast and everything. So
David, do you see the way this guy plugs?
He does.
Do you see that?
It's almost like he was talking on the Boneyard.
I love that album cover, man. I do.
That is pretty
The guy who did it was Scott Wizard Fool Stearns, and he had Wizard in his name. I'm like, you're a perfect fit for what we're doing.
Right?
No, that's excellent. So yeah, I'll sit down with Jay, and then later we'll make up a little promo with your new music on it, some of your old stuff, and we'll make what the information you sent work on.
Yep. You need to call me because, you just created more work for us. So before you go an adult today, you need to call me after we jump out of the stream.
Okay, perfect.
David, I hope you and your wife have a wonderful Valentine's Day. And Jay, I know you're in the background, and I hope you guys have a wonderful Valentine's Day as well.
I know.
Anybody else on this page that has a significant other, I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day, even though I don't.
It is a savage circle.
Right?
That's a cool logo.
And she
is
shows from Sofa City Sounds.
I love that. David, I fucking love that logo.
Yeah, I think I was supposed to send you our logo. Somehow I missed that. But.
Yes, please do. Please do. Yeah, we'll flash it up on the screen for sure.
Once you've been on the show, you're part of the camaraderie.
Yep.
I love it.
Cool.
Your family now.
Yeah.
I love it.
All
right, I'm jumping out. TJ, call me. It was wonderful to talk with you, Scott. Thank you so much. And you and I will connect in the next couple of days, and we'll get some projects on the go so we don't get bored.
Yeah, right.
Awesome. Right on. Okay, have a good one, guys.
All right, guys. Take it easy, Scott. I really appreciate you coming on the show. Finally, we got the hookup and got a little bit of an interview in, and looking forward to working with you in the future, my friend.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. I mean, we're only 4 hours away. It's not a big deal at all for
That's it.
No.
Bro, we like neighbors.
Not far at all, yeah.
All right.
And then when you guys come to Cleveland, we'll hook it up too. So.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
All right.